them?
A bio heard some, and what they heard was that everybody's really, all the kids today, they're into their monster hunting, or monhun, as I hear they call it. And the kids are really into anime, so they just kind of scrapped everything that they had before. They got rid of the jetpacks, and yeah, this is
Okay, first of all, where is the right lens on her glasses?
That's your first question?
It's not my actual first question, but it's the one that's not going to get me kicked off of Twitch. And this dude is straight from The World Ends With You. You weren't kidding. Is that you?
No. We're much cooler.
Oh.
This is God Eater 3. This is the anime monster hunter. Series. Yeah. Yeah, my long history goes all the way back to Friday. Yeah, I was looking that up the other day. I was like, okay, let's go back to the beginnings of this thing and see where we went. And yep, there you were.
This is the Ash Crawler Chrysanthemum.
My goodness.
So where are you? Oh, are you still in the cutscene, or?
We made it in time. Thank goodness.
Yep. Her half glasses and a shirt that defines all known everything.
Everyone's got freaking K-tape all over them.
Right, and she's just like, I got this shirt that's held together by one single button. Somehow, and look, this is some.
It's anime.
It is anime as all hell.
You saved our friends.
But they are,
That's enough for me.
but you know, some good characters, like,
However,
they kind of fall into some
well
usual tropes. So Hilda there is like, hey, I'm the owner of this ship that we're in, and you're, gonna help out my caravan. But then, like, you find out later on, she's got a real heart of gold and all this other kind of stuff. Like, she never comes across as, like, mean or anything like that, but you're just like, oh, hey, there's this lady with a whole lot more depth to her.
Is what counts. But do you really have to be so formal?
Hugo is the man who wants to protect everybody and find a good future for the children. And you're the silent protagonist that...
I'm sure they fled. I saw ships moving away in the distance.
That you on the left there? Okay.
How a caravan route works? We use areas of...
You've got it.
Just repeating what...
There was an old but
I like your
route through
Cosmos
here. The
wings.
beacons, how
Knocked out by that. This crawler has
Is that what you were
I
going
can't
for?
afford to hire very many.
I see.
Okay, good.
See,
Right, and
Where?
yeah, well,
What's up with your
weekly
pants?
allowance is...
if we can reestablish the old route, a cut of those royalties will
Those look like
We're the ones
chaps.
who will be out there risking our necks.
30. The rewards are split amongst the entire.
Well, what do you think?
Chaps are held together by a lot of flex tape
Understood.
And carbon
I know
fiber.
you've got some
and
serious
carbon
car-
fiber.
You're free to roam the crawler, though.
Compared to ourselves.
But underneath the carbon fiber bonnet...
Glad to have you all aboard.
So let me tell you everything I know about God Eater. Okay. Number 1, anime.
Yeah, that's with a bullet.
Number 2, you make bullets.
Also with a bullet.
Yes. No. Number 3, the giant monsters are called Aragami, and I always want to say origami.
Sure, yep.
And let me think. There was one more thing.
Do I need to change my name now to Aragami Panther?
I guess.
Oh,
I remember that the movement in, like, when you're actually out hunting the Aragami, you're like kind of whipping all around the place really quickly in a way that you normally don't in games like this.
Yeah, this is much more like Bayonetta meets Monster Hunter. Like it is not like the same degree of like action or style as Bayonetta, right, or Devil May Cry or something like that, but it's that same fast-paced action as those.
Was that character's name literally Amy Chrysanthemum?
Yes, because again, so she resides at the Chrysanthemum port, so her last name is Chrysanthemum. All of us, Keith here, Locke's character, my character, Hugo, all of our last names are Pennywort because the port of Pennywort owns us. Look, there's some really messed up things going on in this game outside of shirts that break physics.
The rumor I heard about this game is that the gods can now eat you.
They can. Yeah, we're actually going to do one of those missions if it'll let Locke hop into that point. But which I think it will. But the other point I was going to say was that now you made me distracted with the gods eating you.
I'm sorry.
They own things. The story. Oh, if you haven't played any of the previous God Eater games, you're fine jumping into this one. God Hunter, yeah. If you haven't, that's going to happen probably more than once during the stream. But if you haven't played any of the previous God Eater games, you're totally fine. Like, there's some things that, you know, if you did play them, will be familiar. There's some things that will be like callbacks, I'm sure. But in all honesty, like, this game is set years after the last one, and they've pretty much have said, okay, there's this thing called the Ash that just makes it so that anyone who was with the previous organization that was known as Fenrir, they can't go out into the Ash. Like, all the old God Eaters can't survive. So none of the old familiar faces, at least up to the point that I'm at, are in this game. It's entirely new cast of characters. It's, you know, new story. Nothing that really seems to yet go into why the world is this way. It's just, you know, continuation of cataclysmic event that made all these Aragami monsters appear and messed up the world. So yeah, you're fine to hop in. You don't need to play the other ones. And this is, I think, on the whole, I was saying to Locke, like, in a lot of ways, I kind of consider this to be almost like the Monster Hunter world of the God Eater series. Like, there's been enough improvements and enough different things I think that they've done that it's almost to that same level. And certainly, like, as far as accessibility, it's a lot easier to hop into because it relies a lot more kind of upon just get in there and whack things with your big knives or swords or whatever.
It's certainly got a look. Like,
it's got a look, yeah.
Like the actual features of some of these characters aside, like it looks real clean.
Yeah, well, and this is the first one, so past ones have all been developed first on a handheld and then ported.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, so, like, they got cleaned up in a lot of those ports, but still, it's your little...
How come you look kind of like Best Value 2B?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not 2B, I'm ZX29B, that's...
I get it. I remember naming my my Robo and Chrono Trigger that exact number.
That was...
What a coincidence.
That was one of our friends. You did that, but I think... Wasn't that because of our friend Todd?
It was our friend Todd, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was, I believe, the first place it showed up was Secret of Evermore, if we really want to go into the deep...
Yep, it was. Look, listen, I'm the Walmart cosplay of your...
Hey, is that little person you just talked to like a 9,000-year-old...
No, he's just a very
That's
sick
just
little
a kid.
boy. Yeah. That was just a little kid. Okay, so really, like, in the first 5 missions of this game, that little kid's like, hey, I'm sick, I'm dying, and the guard's just like, God, that stupid kid won't shut up.
Wow.
And then you're just like,
Countless.
yeah. You're just like, okay. Anyways, we should probably just, like, actually play this.
Eat some gods.
Let's go hop into a mission here, and then we'll
Let's
go into a little bit of the deeper system.
Yeah. You drive the ship here, Jason.
No, Hilda's driving the ship.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Let's see if I can go into...
Is there an emote?
Okay, so those are all familiar faces. That's a new one, I think.
I wish every game had a manage bullets menu.
Oh man, when I started diving into what you could do with the bullets, I was like, oh, this is nuts. Alright, yeah, this isn't... it's not gonna let me do it.
That's not what I pictured that weapon as, but sure.
That's a good code name, Locke.
Thanks.
Yeah. Alright. So yeah, we are limited by locked progress. Okay, so yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, I'm so far behind.
Nope, that's fine. So yeah, so you pick a mission, and we'll get into this after we go through this. Locke will be able to kind of see, but then you can go into the terminals and base off of the Aragami. One of the advancements or one of the improvements they have here is that when you're fighting a major Aragami, it actually shows you their weaknesses from the mission select screen, so that you can instantly just go to your terminal, figure out the weapons that you want to use, the bullets, all that kind of stuff. That's a nice improvement, so you don't have to go digging for that information, because like everything prior was in the database or
Or on GameFAQs.
GameFAQ. I mean, like it was all in the game, but it was also like I think in some cases you had to like fight the monster first to get information about it, and then it put it in the database. And here, it's just like here's the information that you need. This I should also say this is actually developed by. So the previous games were done by Shift, and Bandai Namco said, okay, we want someone else to do this, so this is actually done by Marvelous. So they are the lead developers on this, and you know, I think not anything in Shift or anything, but I think it just shows like the way that they wanted to move the direction of these games was they realized they needed just a little bit more get in there and hack and slash stuff.
So you have 2 AI with you?
I thought you were using
so
the
got
scythe.
Hugo and Zeke.
Now I feel dumb. It's like I wore the same dress.
Your characters almost look the same too.
This is not what I want.
I don't know why you switched away from the twin blades, but yeah. So this is Locke and I are both using one of the new weapons here, the Crescent Moon, which has its base look like this, where you can go around, hack up some Aragami, and then it has a second look.
Do these things just die real quick?
Oh yeah, these are
just fodder.
Yeah. And it has this huge axe form that you can go through.
So I see you have 3 meters going on there.
In the top left, yeah.
Yep.
So HP is the very top. Underneath that is your Oracle points, which is your
Powers your gun.
bullets, basically. For this is something that is going to be a deep dive later, but like your custom bullets are separate from that, and in the past they were not. So they've actually did a huge different. Like one of the bigger changes they did was custom bullets. Now you have a limited number of.
Gotcha.
And all other bullets, like your just standard bullets, take away from your OP meter. Buzzsaw!
Are the weapon combos in this as convoluted as the ones in Monster Hunter?
No. I mean, like, this one has, like, a couple of variants that you have to keep in mind. And honestly, like, a lot of those variants come from... The most annoying part is... When you get into some of these others, like, there's... Again, more systems, but, like, when you get into some of the other systems, they reference the moves by name. And so you have to sit there and try and remember which one is that again, so that you know how to level up thing. But it's just mash X and toss in Y, or mash Y and toss in X. I mean, like, it's way more straightforward.
So I guess if I really did like Monster Hunter World a lot, and you obviously you know the kinds of games I like, is this a game that you think I would get into?
Yes.
I think so. I mean, like, I think the action of it is solid, and especially in this version of it. I think it's the smoothest running. It looks the best. Again, like, the differences in the weapons is noticeable. Like, you have your big heavy hammers and, you know, charge blade. No, not charge blade, but like charge up, you know, kind of attacks. You have your much more quicker, agile stuff. There's all your rewards.
Okay, I got custom bullets now.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll dive into that next. But so, like there are differences, but on the whole, it's sort of just like what do you want? Like, what do you really enjoy playing with? And nothing, like a Monster Hunter, you had to have gear towards whatever you wanted, right? So like if you're going to go for the heavy bow gun, you needed armor set with supporting abilities to make the most out of that. You had to know the bullets and how to do all this kind of stuff. And certainly with the bullets here, you can kind of get a little bit into that, but it's nowhere near to that degree. There is no armor sets. Your outfit, they're just like wear whatever. Armor makes no difference. Like there isn't anything like that, so you can just do fashion all day. The deeper part of it comes from stuff that Locke doesn't have access to just yet, which we'll try and get through a few missions here and see if we can get to him. But the deeper part of it comes from a lot of using what are known as burst arts. They were blood arts in the previous game, but they're like special attacks that only become accessible once you use your devour attack on one of the monsters. So once you get a little bit of that burst meter going, you have access to those.
The arts,
The second, then like it goes even further beyond that. Like they have acceleration triggers and burst control units and these other things that start, get adding on later and later. I'll say I'm 22 missions in, and I am just now getting some new stuff, right? Like, so this is like a very long, drawn-out tutorial kind of thing, and there are a total of, I think, around 69 missions in this game.
Nice.
So...
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I would say about the first half, like you just need to get through. Not that it's bad, but like you need to get through that to like have access to everything, to unlock everything, to be able to do what you need to, and then the rest of that is all, putting it to use. But so the one thing that is sort of this series is known for is the custom bullets. So
can you walk me through this?
Yeah, so I'm gonna have you create one that's pretty. This is one that I saw on Reddit.
Is it a blaze shot?
Easy to do and a very useful one.
Okay.
So are you in the create a bullet thing where you have a module?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so new module.
Yep.
And then bumper over until you get into orbs. And then switch it to deco ammo.
Yep.
So real quick, the whole theory craft here is deco ammo is cheap as far as the cost of it, and it doesn't impact things as much, so people often use this to set up their actual shots.
Gotcha.
So we're going to do deco orb. You're going to look for RIP fast.
Got
which is rotate in place fast. So that's your first one. Okay.
Does it matter what
Next
element?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
The next one underneath that, you're going to do a new module. You're going to go to radial/bomb.
Oh yeah. Also deco?
No, this one you want to just do real.
Okay.
So you want to do heal element.
Okay.
And you want to do heal radial stop.
Okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure. Hold on, wait, oops.
I like
This
this.
is going to be a big spinning orb that heals you.
Basically, yeah. So, sorry, it's heal radial follow. That's
follow?
what I meant to say. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, and you want large, the large size for that.
I'd like to supersize it.
Yeah. Okay, and then so you bump it over to link it with the previous one.
Yep.
Once you're back in that module screen.
We good.
Okay, so then you want to do one more module after that, actually.
Okay.
And you want to do the same thing: heal, radio, follow.
Another
heal,
one. Okay.
Large. Yeah.
I can get down with that, and link that as well.
And link that as well. And the way that you want to do these actually is then you're going to stagger them just a little bit. So the first one that you have should be right after one.
Right.
and the second one you can go into and you want to do 0.2 seconds after one.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh man.
And that's to avoid like a collision effect, which would error it out.
Right.
So the nice thing is, like, you go in here and you set these up, and then there's a preview. So if you preview that, you can take a look and see what that is, which is really it's
This
awesome
is
to look at.
insane.
Right. So it's just a big spinning orb that shoots out healing in a big radius. Right. So it's an AOE heal for this
Oh
game.
shit! This testing
like-
thing is insane.
So that was in the previous one for all the bullets. Like that was absolutely there. It's not the best thing because like when you do get errors and stuff like that, it doesn't give you enough information to let you know why or but yeah.
Okay, let's
So
use
it
that
is-
shit, man. That's in.
So but you see there, so once you're done with all that, you can back out, save the changes and stuff, and it'll be there. So this is where then some of that comes into effect from before that I was talking about, where it now uses bullets instead of the other thing, the oracle points. So when you have just one, you can see what the cost is. It's one ammo is 135.
Locke, don't put swear words in your names.
And then you can up the ammo, but your max is, you see the total cost bar is 940 is out of 1,000.
Out of
so
1,000.
the most that you can have is 7 of these. To bring
Oh
in.
man, I can see myself deep diving on some bullets.
So there, but here's the thing, like I found a few different things, I found a few different recipes, but again, you have to go far enough into the story because there are additional bullets that unlock as you progress through the story.
I'm with you, Jay. Let's do this.
So there is dumb stuff, and I'll bring it with me in this next fight just to kind of show off.
Oh man. All right.
There's some dumb stuff that I just did on my own, kind of.
All right,
messing
I'm
around
ready
with
to
things.
get dumb. I'm the Grim Reaper with heals. I'm using the scythe, so we're not silly anymore.
Yeah, use the twin blades because that's
Twin
the
blades?
other
Okay.
new weapon.
Okay, doing it.
I'll set that to Y. Okay. So yeah, so those bullets, like honestly, like it's something that people who have been playing this a long time know a lot about how these different mechanisms work. You can just do an easy search for God Eater 3 bullet recipes, and you'll find some posts and stuff like that people are like, hey, here's things I've created, here's what they do. But it's really like, I wish there was a way for me to share these with you. Like, there's no way for me to share these.
Right.
Like, once I set them up, for me to just be like, here, have this bullet recipe, because there's one I want to show you that's really nuts. Because basically the effect of it is that little orb that kind of spun around. So you shoot out one of those orbs, a laser goes around it a few times, another orb spawns when that laser is done. It shoots out another laser that goes around it. That puts another orb in place that then fires a bullet at the Aragami, that bullet triggers an orb that shoots 2 bullets into the Aragami. And the whole point is the first 4 steps of that, it all, like the lasers circling around the orb counts as a distance traveled. So the 4th bullet in that chain, which is an orb, it gets powered up by the distance that has been traveled so far, and all that power then is transferred into bullets down the line, so that by the time it fires the last 2 shots, those shots are now powered up because of everything else that's happened before.
I'm ready to see this.
I mean, yeah, it's really, really cool what people have figured out, what they put into it, and the way that they have these things, and they're really nuts to see. Let's see what we have here for a mission that we can go off and do, and I'll show you some of the silly things that I've... Oh, you have to... Okay, before I can start anything, though, you have to go talk to people.
Yeah, I gotta go run around.
Yeah, this is the part that I do find
Sorry, I
annoying, is
should have
like,
not been dicking around, and I should
No. We wanted to show off the bullet menu. I wanted to show off that thing so
I gotta
people kind of had a little bit of an idea. But
What?
It's annoying that a lot of times in between these story missions,
come on.
you cannot progress until you go and you talk to people on the ship, and that's fine. Like, you want a little bit more of the story, setting things up for the next mission or whatever it may be. But the annoying part is there's 3 different rooms to this ship, and then there's rooms within those rooms, basically, right? So you have to kind of go hunting all over the ship just to find the one person that you need to talk to sometimes, and it's just...
I just talked to Claire.
That's not great. Like, that's just kind of like, you're like, this isn't, you know...
That's not fun.
Yeah. Like, like the better way to do, like, even if you're gonna do that, would be on the elevator. Like, have just some little indicator, like, hey, go to this floor for the person that you need to talk to, or whatever.
Okay, I think we good. I
Let's
talked
see.
to Claire, and then I talked to Hugo, and now I'm ready.
Alright, yep, here's the next one. Cool.
Of course, Claire. Oh,
So
yeah.
I think I was like 8 hours into this game at this point. Like I said, I'm 22 missions in. Some of that's just been me playing around with the bullet editor.
Yeah,
so...
you've been 7 hours of bullet
yeah,
play.
I mean, I could do that too. But, you know, it is kind of long to get to some of these things, and part of that is running around that ship and trying to talk to people and stuff. So there's a little bit that feels like padding, that's not just run to mission to mission. But from a co-op perspective, like, I mean, I'm limited in terms of what missions I can run by what Locke has access to, but at the same time, I set up this lobby, he joined my game, so I'm having to replay some of these older missions with him, but there's nothing that stops us, you know, like, I'm not prohibited whatsoever from joining him or he, you know, vice versa. I think getting into this is a whole lot easier than Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World was so bad when it came to trying to set up a co-op game with your friends. This is, you go to a terminal, you go down to multiplayer, you say, alright, I'm going to create a room, I'm going to create a lobby, I'm going to, you know, give myself a room number and a password, and then your friend's just free to join you once they know, like, what room and, or, you know, what room, what password is. It does
Fire that grab gun.
Oh, yeah. Let me sort my bullets out here.
I'm counting on you.
I have one of them. Where did you go, Jay? I went the wrong way.
Oh, that's okay. Where are you?
I can hop up this. I'll meet you up this hill.
Okay, I don't want to kill this guy just yet until you're here, so I can show you one of my dumb bullets.
Yeah. Do it. I'll be camera.
Alright, so this bullet really has no purpose because you can just shoot a straight shot, but here's a bullet that goes up, shoots back down, and then when it hits the enemy, it sprays something. It like sprays damaging effect on them. And this is one that it hits the target and then it shoots off a bunch of bombs.
Activate, engage, do it!
I will. Come on. Zeke. Please? I guess we have to have an Aragami around.
Go fine.
Your god-eating thing looks like the darkness.
Yep. They are...
It looks way better than it did in the past games.
Yeah.
Way gnarlier.
I have the Steam page for this game open.
Of course you do.
What do you like what you see?
I might.
The other thing, like, as far as co-op play, one of the things that sort of reinforces is definitely, like, powering up your buddies and doing
now we're linked
good
by friendship.
teamwork. So yeah, so now you're engaged with another person, which means that you guys both get some boosts to different things, and also have a special ability that triggers. There's also what's known as your link burst rounds, so when you devour enemies, you get a link burst round. If you do a full devour, which you have to hold down Y and see the whole thing, that takes a long time, so obviously you only do that when the enemy is down and not going to move or attack you. that gives you 3 rounds. But those rounds you can shoot at other teammates, and it fills their burst meter more. So normally when you devour, you can only hit a max of burst level 1, but when you get hit with the link rounds, you can go up to 3. And the more burst you have, the more damage you do, the more defense you have. Like, it just boosts all your stats. It gives you a double jump, and it also, like, whenever we get into the burst arts, it lets you do different things with burst arts. So there's a lot of different, like, trigger effects, basically, like kind of domino effects that go off of having max burst. So obviously the best thing to do is to have max burst all the time. So you get those. And again, the only way that you get that is by having friends shoot you with those link burst rounds. So it's sort of, you know, hey, be good co-op partners and all this, and you know,
Yeah, I like
boost your
that
teammates.
I like that it emphasizes that and gives you a bonus to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is that engage system. So when you fight alongside people, you can trigger the engage thing, and that gives you a whole different other set of you know, kind of temporary boons. But it also shares burst meter. So for instance, like if I powered up Locke to burst level 3, and then I switched on the engage thing for us, I would also get burst meter
Burst level 3, nice.
Right, so like then your further, you know, kind of thing of encouragement of this is, okay, I'm gonna power up my buddy here, switch on the engage, then now we're both, so that now I'm at burst level 3 too, and we can both, you know, do the most damage, maximum effect kind of stuff for all this. Are you able to take on their mission?
Oh yeah. Well, you got to do it. You got to accept it.
No, this one. Wait.
So he was
No,
looking
yeah,
at
I think
chapter 2 and the first story mission there. I don't know if you can pick that.
That's the one that we've already done that one. I think you gotta go talk to people.
I just did.
Yeah, he did a whole sweep. Nobody's got, like, icons over him or anything.
Oh wait, no. Back on track was no. That's not it. What was the first one that we did?
Program details or something?
Program repair.
Program repair, yeah.
Maybe this is okay. I thought we already did this one.
Oh, it's all good.
But maybe
I'll be right there. Can I accept from here? Probably not.
I think you have to go hit the
big
thing in the middle.
The big galaxy orb here.
Yeah.
Touch the shiny orb.
That's there for you to touch.
All systems green, baby.
See, I mean, like, this is a lot of the, you know, and the missions themselves is they're very short. Like, you know, you can get them done in a few minutes.
Robot crab.
Burst crab, yeah.
Oh, goodness. This is level 1 is your burst level?
Yeah, so that's the burst level I was talking about. Like I said, when you get powered up more, the burst rounds and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just hit Locke with a burst round, so he's now level 2. No.
Oh. I remember these guys.
Unless we do things like that, that's because of burst arts and because of being in burst. So I can only do that while I have burst meter.
Here, let me hit you with some more bursts.
There's a little healing fountains that pop up here. So yeah, so these are much faster missions. Yeah. Look, that was so we had 40 minutes to complete. We did it in a minute 30. So these things like they go really fast. Even like we're about to face a much bigger monster here in a second, but like it's gonna go almost equally as fast. They, you know, it's much more kind of you don't have to go hunting for things. They don't tend to take off as much, and then you have to track them down again. Like everything from Monster Hunter, this is much more about here's the monster, go fight it. Congrats, you win. Here's some loot, right? So it's a much quicker cycle of that. And crafting wise, I think crafting is better in this game than in past ones. Like the materials that you get and what you need to then use, it's usually like you need just one of this thing as opposed to like you need 5. So there doesn't seem to be as much of a grind, at least for the earlier stuff, right? Like I haven't gone into the deeper ranks because probably what you're seeing, some of what Locke's getting for rewards are blueprints. So those blueprints unlock new weapons that you can either craft or that you get as upgrades, you know, existing ones. I haven't gone far enough down that tree yet to see what later things require, but even up to I think like rank 3, it's still just saying, hey, you just need one of these material from, you know, something. So maybe you have to go fight an Aragami twice because you didn't get the first time, but like the fact that it's not so prohibitive for all this stuff, and you're not grinding for materials and trying to get a rare drop, which definitely becomes a huge thing, you know, with Monster Hunter. Is kind of a nice change of pace, that it's much more kind of go in here and have fun. As far as what the end game looks like, I can't say obviously because I'm not there yet, but I know in the past, but part of what they have, which we're not going to be able to show off today, just because neither one of us has progressed that far into it, but it's the assault missions, where you have what are known as the Ash Aragami. They are the ones that can devour you. We're not even going to, unfortunately, there's a 4-player one that comes at the end of this current set of story missions, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to get to that, I don't think. But those are much tougher. The assault missions themselves do 8 players instead of 4, and you have 5 minutes to take down this thing. And that's a pretty harsh time limit for a lot of these things because they're not only are they, you know, they're doing more damage and they have some strong attacks, but yes, because they can devour you, devour other players. So one is when they do the devour, they get their own burst mode, which gives them new attacks, and those attacks can be very strong and powerful. But then the players that get devoured have a negative status effect applied to them that actually cuts off any form of support from allies that you can receive. So you can't engage with other players, you can't get link burst, you can't even get revived. So they call it, I think, link aid, but you can't get revived, which means if you die, you use up your endurance. You have like a limited number of endurance. So the last thing that was on there on the left hand side was, you probably saw like a heart with 3 little pips, or 9 pips total next to it. So normally when you die in a mission, your teammates can revive you, and if so, then you don't lose any pips. But for those Ash Aragami, if you're corrupted, which is a status effect, if you die, then you respawn and you lose pips, and there's nothing anybody can do. So effectively, it takes if players get devoured, it takes them out of the fight for a little bit because they have to do their best to just constantly be on the defensive, avoid attacks, try and get away so that they don't die. And the Ash Aragami actually will pursue them, so like it'll go after and target them and try and purposefully take them down. So I think it's a cool sort of mechanic and a way to set up these fights that is makes them that much more difficult.
All right, can we do one more?
Yeah, definitely.
And,
have you unlocked anything new?
Let me check.
I bought a copy of this game.
Of course you did. Hey, I support your decision.
I mean, ultimately, yeah. Like for there's definitely some flaws and there's things about it that I'm just like, this is gross or whatever. But like, I think it's really fun. Like I think there's just some hop in,
Yeah.
stupid fun kind of thing, and
Yeah, I mean
the cooler parts. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that the off-putting elements of the anime part aside, this looks fun and is the kind of thing I like to dig into.
Yeah. Area
Yeah,
sweep
and-
2 is up, Jason.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, we can show off one of the medium Aragami here. And this is also one of the new Aragami, I believe. Oh wait, whoops, I should check and see what its weaknesses are.
Oops, I want my divine. Think divine.
So we are going up against a... Oh, things are cool. The main, and it is weak to ice and divine. I will say too, this particular one kind of looks like a Dark Souls boss. Let's put that on. Or at least I think so.
I'm into it.
Alright, so I got that. I've got my divine weapon on. I've got that. I'm ready to go. Oh, we didn't get into the allies menu too much, but like your NPC allies are used. They're actually good to fill in, and each ally kind of has a little bit of a specialty. So you have to go into like what their abilities are a little bit to look,
And you can,
but like
you can customize them a bit too, right?
Yeah, so Hugo, for instance, is really good at devouring and getting Link. So like you can use him as your ally that just is constantly hitting you with Link burst rounds and stuff like that. Claire is your healer. I think Zeke's kind of a trapper, which for these ones doesn't matter as much. Definitely for later
The big
ones.
boys, yeah.
Yeah, laying down traps and catching them with vines and other stuff, so if they're temporarily paralyzed is definitely useful. Or other status elements. There we go. There's our Dark Souls boss. Look at that guy.
Oh, sick. He's like a centaur chicken. Oh, I guess not centaur. I'm into this. Is there a lock-on button? I missed that in the tutorial.
There is. If you hold L, I think it's
Oh,
if you
yeah.
hold LB.
So what's the obviously Monster Hunter kind of goes what's the end game like in one of these?
So in past games, I think it was a lot of they eventually like released DLC and other things to kind of help out with that. Here, I think it's going to be those assault missions in the Ash Aragami, like the tougher monsters. I mean, I think it's still going to be a lot of, hey, you're here to kind of farm for different materials and stuff. I haven't seen much in the way of like the gym system sort of a thing that you got from Monster Hunter, where you need to go farm this. Yeah, go to a high rank and kill the same monster 20 times and hope that you get the right. Yeah. So like cutting parts off, there's things that break on these guys, so that's the equivalent here.
Can you target weak points, or is it just happen?
It's kind of just broadly, like we broke the legs and the arms. That just comes from, and now the wings.
Gotcha.
That just kind of comes from attacking as opposed to being able to specifically say here's the wings or whatever. Yay, we
Well done.
win.
You did it.
That thing's sweet, man. My guys just said that was dumb.
Arr.
I don't think it's dumb.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't know enough about like fully what the end game looks like, but I have a feeling it's gonna be mostly those.
We'll get
things.
there.
Yeah. I know that there are, and I meant to look it up fully before we started this, but didn't have a chance to. They do have like out there a little bit of a post-launch plan, so for future patches, different things that they're going to be adding, and a lot of that seems free. Like from some of what I saw, there's like they're going to add new Aragami, they're going to add new different things, but it's going to be free. It's not going to be like paid DLC kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Like
Holy smokes, got a lot of stuff.
Good lord. Look at all those first-time rewards.
I know. It's beautiful.
Something else that's kind of so in the past game, they had abandoned god arcs. Those are still here too,
Right.
and those add skills to your weapons that do different things, and they'll tell you what those things are. Those dropped much later in God Eater 2 than they do here. These start like almost right away that you start finding these abandoned god arcs, so they kind of get you into that system a whole lot faster, so you can just start customizing your weapons and adding abilities and the skills to them that you want to use with it. And it's the nice thing is when you upgrade a weapon in the same tree line, for lack of a better word, it keeps those skills. If you upgrade it to a whole new tree, then it loses them, because like the whole thing kind of is changed and different at that point. But there's a lot of things where it's like, I have a laser that's called Beast Roar, so if it goes from Beast Roar to Beast Roar 2, it keeps whatever skills it has. But if instead I upgrade it from Beast Roar to Magma Oculus, then it's going to lose any skills, because Magma Oculus is a separate tree for that particular weapon.
That's so crazy, because I was thinking about Dark Cloud the other day, and I was like, that's the same weapon upgrade system that Dark Cloud had. And I'm into it.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like, when you look at there are a ton at this point. Like, I have 1, 2, 4, 5,
Man, that
6,
Locke,
7,
you got me
8, 9.
thinking about Dark Cloud 2. And that
Yeah.
game was dope as hell.
Yeah.
So I have not pretty much for every single different weapon type. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So pretty much for every single weapon type. So those 8, I have about 9 different options for what to make.
Wow.
For just a base, right? And then they can upgrade from there. And that's just where I'm at this point in the game. And obviously, I'm going to get more of these blueprints, I'm going to get more things. And, all these things, they like, why do you choose this one over another one? It comes down to what element is it strong in.
Right.
And deciphering that can be a little bit confusing at first, but basically, circles it uses as good things and X's as, like, weak. So, for instance, on the shields are, like, if they're strong against something, they'll have circles and X's for what they're weak against. But then, like, if they're really good, they do, like, double circles and stuff like that. So there's stuff like that isn't always the best laid out and best explained, or why would you want this thing over that, like this weapon over that one. But it's as you play and you kind of start picking up on what these different skills and everything are, you get a little bit better feel for that. And yeah, I mean, that's like, I could probably spend another half hour or so talking about different systems in this game, because literally there's just like that much that you can kind of go into with burst control and the burst arts, and you can modify the burst arts with different effects and the other things, but like they dole that out in bits and pieces, right? Like, so as I said, I'm as far as I am into the game so far, and I just unlocked a new feature because they've given me that much time to be able to get comfortable with certain things and be like, okay, now here's a new thing. Okay, cool, you're comfortable with this, now here's a new thing. So it is paced at least pretty well as far as adding all that stuff and not overwhelming you. I know there's something new still, like there's one other thing that I haven't gotten to yet because there's like a question mark on my crafting menu, so there's still one other thing that they're going to introduce me to at some point here, but I don't ever feel overwhelmed by this, to the degree where I'm just like, what do I even do? It's pretty straightforward. I can grab a weapon, I can grab a gun, here's some bullets that go with the gun, and just go in and start attacking and shooting, and that stuff they kind of introduce early on enough, and it's pretty straightforward. So, and yeah, from a co-op perspective, I think it's a whole lot better for getting in and doing this with your friends.
Yeah, that took no effort, which is good.
Yeah, it's no effort. It lets us both play together. Again, the limiting factor of you have to go talk to these NPCs before even I can launch a mission,
right,
is a bummer. But once we kind of both progress to a similar story point, or if we start playing through the story together, we'll both be limited in that same kind of method. So yeah, I think Mike, despite all the anime, Mike picked it up in the middle of this stream. That's a pretty strong selling point.
Yeah, I'm gonna check in with it in a couple weeks, and I'm gonna have so many sweet bullet recipes. You guys are gonna start a cookbook.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah, like I said, I wish there was a better way to kind of get them or do something like that. But I'm looking forward to, in a couple weeks' time, once people have had a lot of more chance with this, to cook some stuff up with those bullets, and see what people have done, because there's some crazy recipes, like just once you see them, what they do and the way that they act, it's
awesome.
So thanks everyone for tuning in. Next week we will be showing off Anthem. Mike's been playing a ton of it. I'll be playing more of it this week to kind of try and catch up some to where he's at, but we'll kind of have a big long talk about that game.
And how it's probably way better than the betas might have led you to believe.
Based on my time so far with it, and it's something that, like, I wish I could go and look at it on platform, or because I was playing on PS4 for the betas and for the demos, and then PC for this, and I don't know if there's any differences there, but it definitely feels and plays a whole lot better. It still has some of the same problems that any games in that sort of genre have, but yeah, we'll get into that more next week.
Cool. Well, thank you for dropping all the knowledge, Jason. It's always appreciated, especially for a game this dense. But God of Your 3, we'll have continue updates as we pluck away at it and make some cool weapons, and you'll see more of this in the future.
Definitely. Yeah,
right.
we might hop in and do another stream of this at some point, so.
Awesome.
Cool.
Okay, take care everyone. Thanks for watching.